I'm going to say a very good morning to you because it's 5 a.m. over here in the Brisbane, Australia. And for you, it's evening,
Yeah.
8 p.m. So I'm going to have to recalibrate my favorite questions like what'd you have for breakfast? What's for dinner? What's for dessert? Gear it towards more evening meal snack items for you today. But
Actually, I ate some bagels with ham, with some cottage cheese, with cucumber, pickles. Pickles is the better name for it, and some tomatoes. So pretty boring dinner for me,
I
actually.
don't know, bro. I quite like a bagel. Bagel's
Yeah.
delicious. More of a breakfast item over here in Australia, but a dinner item for you is nice. I like that. Now,
Thank you.
it's super important. I ask one really big question, and that question is for those who don't know, they should know who you are, but some might, silly sausages. Who you are and what do you do, sir?
Okay, my name is Paweł Jurczyński, and for like almost 15 years, I am a powerlifting coach. Now it's my full-time job, and among others, I am coaching one and only Agata Szytko. This is, I think, my most famous athlete. Beside her, also I am coaching the last year world champion and in open also the Zuzanna Kula who won the world's champions in equip, and some other lifters who are really good in terms of some international competitions and our Polish nationals.
You guys, you Polish guys and girls are strong. Like,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
strong.
yeah. We got some names like Jarosław Olech, jak Krzysztof Wierzbicki, like Blewonska. Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah. What are you doing differently over there
Actually,
as a nation?
there was some study that we have really good hips for squatting, but let's leave it. I think that those names like Szytko, Wierzbicki, Blewonska are connected with one thing. They start really early because Agata started doing something with dumbbells when she was like 13.
Nice.
Krzysztof also started when he was, I believe, even 12 to help his mother who is handicapped, right? Handicapped to help her to get to his flat that was on the second floor. And Lewonska just loved to train, and he also started like when he was 13, I believe. And I think this is the this one common this one thing that connect them all together.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Is there a culture for young people to be training barbells and dumbbells over there in Poland, or is that it's still kind of newish over there?
It's kind of new, kind of new. It's uh, like most of the kids, let's say, is like you have ball over there, just go and play some football, some soccer, some volleyball. And if someone wants to do some strength training, I think most of them is looking for some powerlifting coach. There is no during the not nationals, during the high school, or even the what is the lower
From high school?
yeah
Primary school?
primary school. Oh, I actually I know it. So in primary school there is no not really good experienced guy to show them how to do some things on the gym at the gym.
Yeah, yeah. It's a conversation I have with a lot of coaches that whilst I'm very excited for the Agatas of this world, I still think them starting at the age of 13 is still newish, like for that generation. But there's this new generation that are watching Agata and those of that age at 12 and 13 and now picking up a barbell instead of a soccer ball or a football. and there's a bigger population of them coming in the next sort of 5-10 years.
True.
I think, whilst the totals that are happening at the moment are really cool, I don't think we've seen what's possible yet, because there's this new group that's going to come inspired by this current young group, and it just genuinely excites me. I can't wait.
Yeah. Actually, I think that Agata and names like Joe Borenstein are the let's say aperitif before those big let's say explosion of the new generation of powerlifters who start really young and do it properly, because we know also some names that start really early in their lives, but it's really poorly due to some things with the, let's say, periodization, with technique, with programming, etc., etc.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the other thing. Like, you've got this new big wave of people coming, but you've also got this new wave of coaches like yourself that are upskilling next level big brains that are coming with this new level of athlete as well. Like, it is a beautiful time to watch barbells. I think as a purist, a person who loves to see weight get moved, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely love it. Where did coaching start for you 15 years ago?
Actually, it was like when I was in high school, I started to go into the gym because I was pretty small and weak. And after a year, I realized that adding some another plates on the barbell is more fun to me than looking at the mirror if my biceps is bigger or not. And after that, I started exploring the whole powerlifting thing. And after some times, I started to write some articles based, for example, on things that I wrote on Elite FTS, on Stronger by Science, but Greg Knuckles, etc. And after some period of time, I started to coach my friends of mine. And there was a thing that friend of mine who also was a powerlifting during the time, just sent to me his female friend and told me, "You're gonna teach her squat." And I was like, "Dude, I don't know what to do. I'm so freaking terrified. I don't know what will happen." But actually, she was pretty satisfied with it. And I think that was the very beginning of it, that I started to coach people. And of course, at first it wasn't very good. It was like percentage based, not some accessories like more in bodybuilding style without any concept for it. But during the time, it's evolved to the, I believe, to the like now.
Yeah. Did you compete yourself in the early days? Did you jump on a platform?
Yes, but I was pretty shitty lifter. Yeah, it's true, really. I got the second place at nationals in 120 category, so it was pretty sloppy. But there was a time that I was pretty good, but I injured my leg. The barbell just slipped off my hand during the deadlift, and it hit my left leg, and I was like, my quadrus femoris was torn in half, and I needed the surgery. Yeah. Pretty bad thing happened. And after that, excuse me, what, once again?
I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah, because it's a really stupid injury. Injury. It's almost impossible to do, but I did it. So after that, I of course there was a time as I step on the platform, but after that I realized that I think I will be better coach than an athlete, and I started to being like more concerned about my coaching skills than my total, let's say.
Yeah, I think I see that with a lot of coaches. There's a pointy moment where they realize that as a competitive powerlifter themselves, that maybe that's not their space, but as a coach, that's where they should be. And then all of a sudden you just see the coaching in their client base just flip as soon as they make that decision and they see that. Also, their lifts go to shit too, but you see that shift in their athlete. Like personally, I've had it myself. You know, that moment where I've walked out, it's like, man, you're not really great at this. And for me, it was a back injury as well. And I look at that period at 2014 when I did that, like my client base grew, my coaching, my thoughts and how I was thinking about training my clients changed, that their strength levels jumped. And then I look back looking in that room and I'm like, man, I got more clients than I used to have. And everyone's doing way better now that I'm not worried about myself.
Yeah.
I see
And
that
there is
happen
a
all the
time.
time.
There is a time that you are just miss the whole adrenaline from the platform. It's kind of different emotions than you are when you are competing and where are your clients, athletes compete. But after some period of time, I think it's when, especially when you hit something big like for Agata, like Sheffield or some World Championship, it's like it's really the biggest, I believe. Jak jest nagroda? Prize. Thank you
Yeah, I
for
totally
for
agree.
for foreign coach.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the simplest way I think about it is I get great joy from hitting a personal best, but if I coach 40 people and they all get 40 personal best, that's far cooler feeling than my own
Yeah,
personal best.
totally. Yeah.
Not at all. Do you miss competitive powerlifting for yourself at all? Or are you very happy to see it in the past and really focus on coaching?
I think there is during because I'm like 36 now. I believe I might step on the platform when I will be the master in
Oh, nice.
masters class, but it's not like I have to do it. There is not like some really basic instinct in me that I should be on the platform. Like I really enjoy being full-time coach for my
Yeah.
lifters, being a part of their journey. It's really awesome also. But actually there is some part of me that is not actually putting the belt on the hook and just leave that behind
Still a
me.
little bit fire in the
Yeah,
belly.
yeah.
I get that, man. Yeah, for me, I do maybe one comp a year still. One I did
Wow.
a WPC Worlds last year. It's a little photo of me down there doing it. But for me, it's not even about the weight on the bar. I just enjoy the team experience. Like I'm lifting with my friends and everybody else. I bombed my third deadlift. I don't even care. It's about the experience these days is what I enjoy. The thing that I interest a lot in, and you're getting a lot of buzz about it, obviously, is just with your coaching style for Agata. Do you note big moments of change across that 15 years that has drawn you to change how you coach and how you apply things? Yeah, the thing that everyone's obviously talking about is the SPD days for Agata at the moment and how you use those. But
Mm,
how did you land there?
Actually, because I'm from Poland, that so the like Eastern school of periodization, the Soviet periodization was like my big start for me. It was like Shaiko things, Medvedev, Zatsorsky. That's all that I know during that day. And we started with some basically things pretty similar to this, like percentage based, a lot of volume, etc. But after that, the emerging strategies started to be really known during at all of the world, and I started to explore that concepts of what that Mike Tushir really bring to the powerlifting from the Borg scale. From the Bondarchuk, this bottom up approach, and the third thing that really changed my perspective on programming was the powerlifting now, and actually meet just knowing what Steve Denovi and Marcellus Williams are doing, and I think that shaped my programming style, like for the final shape, let's say. And actually, in some way I started to exploring the strength and conditioning world, like Tim Gabbett, like Matt Jordan, and other strength and conditioning guys. And I started to exploring like polarization thing, like game day concept, like what is monotony, what is acute to chronic ratio. And I started to implement it to the powerlifting. And actually, it ends really, really well. And it helps me to gathering and adjusting data for my lifters, because I believe I am really, really data driven coach. I really believe in data that I gathered, and I like to do it.
Yeah.
And I believe that I have some really, really good information about my athletes and about my strategies for each of my lifters. And about, because I believe that you are really, really interested in how we started the 6 SBDs.
Yeah, that's next level, right? Because if you talk to, like, let's say anybody who's not familiar with it, and you go, oh yeah, that's Agata on the TV, she just won that, blah blah blah, he's the coach, and they do SBD 6 days a week, they all go,
Yeah.
like, really?
How?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Is that the common question?
Yeah, it is. And actually, Agata did it before we started to work together. And it was like in 2022, I believe, she just got it from Matt Vienna, the Canadian lifter, who also did the 6 SBDs. And she thought, because during the time she also loved to powerlifting. She not also, but she started to love powerlifting as now, I believe. So I can do more of things that I love. So what an excellent idea.
Makes
And she
sense.
started with it, but it gave her the 85 kilos of progress in like 4 months to her total. So massive, massive, massive progress for her total. But it ends with some low back pain and some adductor, not really major injury, but pain also an injury. What stopped a little bit of progress in her deadlift. And we started when we started to work together. It started pretty normal, let's say. So it was like 4 squats, 3 deadlifts, and 6 bench presses during the week, during the microcycle. But after the I believe, Sheffield 224, Agata said to me, Paweł, I want to get back my 6 SBDs. And at first, I hated the idea. And I said that, Agata, I cannot guarantee you that it will be working, that I will not hurt you. But during that time, I was also familiar with the polarization thing. So actually, at the first, what I did was just to put in the blank spaces, let's say. So to put in the to put some sessions between the primary, secondary, tertiary sessions, some really light sessions to add some recovery and add some volume. And it start to work really well. Of course, it's evolved a little bit from that moment, but actually, I strongly believe that in terms of high frequency training, the polarization is like the key to maintain the healthy and the recovery of athlete. Because giving him a big volume is not a big thing. Just making him recover from it, that's the trick.
Yeah, it's the analogy. There's one I always like. You can train as much as you can recover.
Totally.
That's simplicity, right?
Totally.
So there must be some real small, little, tiny movements you make on each of those little SBD days without giving away too many of your secrets. Like, considering injury of the athlete must be a big part of that, because if you can't just bang that thing out at 100% every day, right?
Totally. Yeah. It's like let's say on your primary, Agata will hit something like triple for RP9, but on the next day she will do like 60% for free triples, and that's it. Due to the fact to speed things up in terms of recovery and just maintain her mental and physical fatigue.
Yeah, and that the really cool, well, one of the many cool things that comes in training with such a high frequency is the skill of the lifter must just flip, right? Because if you're only doing the sport SBD comp style lift once a week, or twice a week, whatever everyone's normally doing, now you're doing it 6 times a week. The skill of the lifter, you must see a huge shift, right? In how they apply that.
You're totally
and
right.
Just from that, like when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Why the fuck aren't we all doing SBD days?
Yeah, I think it might be a new trend. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think more. Well, as a coach, I like to predict the Instagram future of what's going to be popular this year, and I, at the moment, my vote is for SBD days, 6 times a week.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, maybe.
But for anyone to get it right, they need to come and talk to you, right? Like, because I imagine as a young coach coming through, you can see that great success at Agata and what you're having with that high frequency training, but it would be very easy to do it wrong, I imagine.
Yeah. Actually, when you get those 6 SBDs, and let's say one free, you know that your athlete is tolerate when the 3 of them are pretty high in fatigue, and you will add the 4th one with the even medium fatigue, it might end pretty badly.
Yeah, so it must be such an important part of that coaching relationship for you and Agata and your other members with data, and also knowing them as a human to be able to get such a high frequency training right. Like being able to, you know when she's tired, right? In its simplest form. Like she can say to you, "No, I'm feeling great, bro. I'm all good. Let's go. Send it tomorrow." But you can see in her how she's looking, and you go, tomorrow is not the day. We pull it back.
Totally. And also even in a spreadsheet there will be some signs that, like for Agata, for example, it's like if you gave her the 60% for triples, I believe Agata in most cases will rate it as a RP213 but if something was not right during the microcycle, and she will rate it as a 5 or 6, this is the big sign for me, is that something is not it's not right. Something should be repaired.
Yeah, 100%. And that RPE must be such an important part of this sort of coaching style, right? How do you find Agata and the other athletes go with being accountable to that RPE that you give it? Like, you know, the example being the hyper athlete, you write an RPE 6, you know it's not an RPE 6 when they send you the video you're watching in the gym, they hit an 8. And you're like, I wrote 6. And they go, no, that's a 6. Yeah, that's definitely a 6.
Yeah.
You know the ones, right?
Yeah, of course. Actually, that's why I wrote the periodization from week to week, not like for the full block. Because if something like that happened, I can also, let's say, rescue the left part of the block. And for my less advanced lifter, I tend to give them like frame of minimum and maximum for given RP. So during the very beginning of the block and let's say the middle of the block, she are not able to exceed the maximum frame, the maximum the maximum load that they can put on the barbell during that day. And it kind of make things easier a little bit, but there are also there are lifters who even during that they are like overshooting a lot. And when that situation comes to reality, I just kind of manipulate with the 1RM that is used for prescribing those min-max frames. So yeah, there are some things that you can do in a spreadsheet in Excel to maintain those hot rods type of lifter.
I call it a cage. I've got a few that come to mind, particularly for myself, and I call it the cage. And I say to them, "You're in the cage this week, this month, this block. It's small cage, big lock. I have the key. You do not. You're not allowed out of the cage." And then I promise them that they're allowed out of the cage at a certain time. And then when you're out of the cage, please be a lunatic. But until that moment, small cage, big lock.
Really awesome metaphor. I need to remember. That's awesome.
You can definitely use that one. Where do you think? Oh, actually, no. I'll ask this one. The thing that I love, because when I watch Agata's lifts, she is very accountable to the RPE when she lifts, in my opinion, or at least what she puts on the internet. Right, that's what I get to see. You see her ride a 6 at whatever weight. Obviously, you've prescribed, and you watch her move it, and you're like, man, she's nailed that. Like, that is a 6. You try and remove the fact that there's 1,000 kilos on the bar and it's fucking freak strong. But she's incredibly in tune by the looks of it with hitting that RPE. That's such an important part of it, of the process. Do you give feedback as a coach to your athletes like that as well, to help them manage their ideas of RPE? He's like, no, that was actually a 7 today. You need to dial that back. That's an important part to get her on board with how you see and move things.
Yeah. Maybe not particular with Agata, because as you already said, Agata's really honest with herself about the prescribing and hitting the right RPE. But with other athletes, with other clients, I tend to give him some feedback that I believe that you didn't hit 6 RP. It was more like 7.5 or 8. So please think about the whole momentum thing and think about it. What would you hit? What would you like to hit during the end of the block? Because if you overshoot now, it not will happen. And in most cases, there are like, okay, coach, let's repair that. Let's do some changes that to maintain the my goal for the block. Because I believe every single one got some idea of what they would like to end with the block. Because most of them, even if we started the block with the for primary like triple for RP6, most of them know that we'll end with like triple RP 8.5 or 9. So they are during the very beginning of block, they are thinking about, okay, now maybe I am loading 160, but I would love to get the 190 for the end. So yeah, the whole momentum idea, I think, is pretty good to make them understand what we are trying to achieve.
How much space do you have in a program like that for accessories?
Actually, it depends how many training days we have, how many SBD days, let's say. If I have like more typical approach, like upper lower, in lower day, let's say it would be like 2 or 3 accessories. One of them would be pretty multi-joint. Others, other 2 like some isolation exercises. For upper, it would be like 2 multi-joint and 2 or 3 the isolation work. And actually, I believe that for powerlifting itself, we should also for literally everyone, we should maintain some work for hip flexors, because as we can see during the squat or deadlift, there is only hip extension. So we are not like giving any stimuli to the hip flexors. We also do not have a lot of work, like no work at all to the internal rotation of femur, of hip. And I also think that all of powerlifters should maintain some work for thoracic extension or rotation, or extension and rotation, like front squats, like even a lock clean, like some good safety squat, good mornings, etc., etc. Like hyperextension with the snatch grip hold, something like that. And this is give us like the scapula, posterior pelvic of the scapula, and of course the healthy of the external rotators, etc. So this is the main three, let's say, types of accessories they gave, and also that one that actually, in my opinion, lifter actually needs. If he is a little bit lateral shifting in squat or something like that, or I believe his lats are lacking strength or his quads are lacking strength, we also maintain that with the accessories.
Yeah. So there's still a little bit of opportunity within that program, just with the right, but by the sounds of it, the exact right one. You don't have a shotgun approach where you're like, yeah, let's just do 4 back exercises. There's very specific back exercise you're trying to think. You're like, yeah, we need, we've got room for one, so we're going to pick the right one.
Yeah. Mostly yes, due to the fact that we just stick to the thing that they should be able to recover from it. So if I gave them like 8 accessories, I don't believe they will put as much effort for the next like SBD sessions on every like compound movement or the SPE or even competition lift session that I would like them to have. So yeah.
And even from a program perspective, if you're just putting 1 or 2 things in there, that competitive gun ho power lifter, if they'll be like, man, he's only giving me 2, they will get after those 2 instead of having that 6, 7, 8, multi different angle things where they just half-ass 4 of them instead.
Yeah.
Where you could very much argue they're no value. They could have just gone hard on 2 things and actually got something out of it, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see the modern coach getting it wrong at the moment? Because you're exposed to some top level stuff. What are we doing wrong, do you think?
Actually, I think that we are really we are too much stick to the idea that every session, every training should be should provide stimuli to the nervous system or structural or hypertrophy, let's say. And I believe that if we like throw away that idea, we might get really good results. As I did it some time ago when we just implement those really light sessions, and I believe that in terms of in powerlifting world, there is not many even studies about those light sessions and the importance of it. And yeah, this is I think this is the main thing that if you are doing like 6 squat days, every of those squat in for the I fully believe for the most of the coaches should be aim for like, let's say 7 RP, and I believe it's a mistake, for example.
Yeah, I love the idea of movement. I think that's super important, right? That's you can add recovery by moving and blood flow. You can then add, if you're just being specific with more squat, bench, and deadlifting, you get to improve technique. Like if on heavy day there was some sort of breakdown positionally, insert X what position was. you can just have a plate on the bar for that recovery session, get them thinking and working on that positional thing, so that when the next heavy one comes in the next few days, next week, whatever it is, that can
Yeah.
sharpen them up, right?
And it's also some of volume that is added to the whole microcycle. And believe if we believe to the studies of the Zaciorsky or Verkoshansky, it's like the 60% of some movement, even if not done in the like RP5 and above, also get some stimuli, like in terms of strength speed or speed strength in the set principle. So yeah, I believe that there are plenty of space to do some things that are not so stimuli in the let's say conventional way.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. How important for an off season is to addition some new movement for an athlete? Do you think then, particularly someone who's very SBD? That's what I call a one dimensional creature. In an on season, how do you add any importance to an off season or having some other multi movement? Just get them flowing in different angles. Do you see any importance in that?
Actually, if I will find some microcycle structure or block structure that works for an athlete, I will stick to it the whole year. But of course, during off season, even if the structure is not very changeable, we will add some more accessories for, like as you said, some other planes of movement, some rotational things, some even plyometric things, etc.
Yeah.
But actually, the core is always specific movement is SBD,
Yeah.
and this is the core. Maybe with a little bit less of the volume of intensity,
Yeah.
but actually, our sport is pretty straightforward. It's
Mm.
SBD itself. So I believe there is no very big need if and it's worth to mention that if athlete is healthy, if athlete is healthy, there is no really big need to change things across the year. And the example is Agata. I think that for Agata, the microcycle structure for bench press is pretty the same from like 2 years, just with some small tweaks, some changes in the secondary bench press session, in the tertiary bench press session, but it's still is yeah, it's still pretty the same that we started to work with each other like 2 years ago. Yeah, yeah, I think yeah.
And she got a very strong bench.
Yeah. Actually, maybe it's not entirely true because I believe that she was able to hit 160 when we added to log press and log clean. Log press was with the tertiary bench press, log clean was after the secondary bench press. And I think her thoracic extension improved, her all upper back muscles strength improved, so she was able to hit those 160 during the gear power for the first time.
Yeah.
And we connected
Yes.
it with the log due to the fact
Yep.
that in terms of some program, in terms of programming, there was not big change at all, or yeah, the changes were really really small.
And that's where that data and that logging of data is so important, I imagine, because you can look back and go, hang on, we added this in, and all of a sudden we got this spike in result. We need to remember that
Yeah,
works
yeah,
well, because
totally.
everything, what works for a gutter with a lock press isn't necessarily going to work for the next person, right? So you can't be just like, we'll just use that one for everyone. But
Yeah,
everyone
totally.
has their movement where it's like, I added that in, and that one was a winner. We need to keep that.
Yeah,
And that's where,
yeah.
if you're a client or an athlete out there watching this, fill out your training programs, add it all in.
Yeah,
Nothing frustrates me more than the coach is you look at the Expel spreadsheet for the week and you're like, you filled nothing out. I don't know what the fuck you did this week. Thank you for your
Yeah,
videos.
totally. It's pretty annoying. And what should I give you for the next week? I don't know shit about your previous week. So what's now, dude?
Oh man, I totally agree. Now for Agata, I'm very curious about the Sheffield and a prep like that. Like from the moment you know you're going to the event, what does that look like for you guys? Do you sit down and have some conversation together and build stuff out?
Yeah.
And that training run must be super exciting too, right?
Actually, you know that it was kind of different from the 2024 to this year, because in 2024 it was like, holy shit, it might happen. We might do it, and
Yep.
she did it. Now everyone votes for Agata. So from my standpoint, it was like, dude, you cannot fuck it up. So, so it was very exciting also, but I was
Yep.
a little bit more nervous about programming, about
Yep.
spreadsheet, about the accessory selection, all that stuff that we came up with the preparation for Sheffield. And
Yep.
actually, from the insides, the block before the final block to the Sheffield was pretty shitty for the squad, and I was like, holy shit. We actually we knew already that it will end pretty well, that there is a chance that she will win once again.
Mm.
But you know, you want also make sure that every single lift will be good, or even, let's say, due to the fact that Agata also was losing weight,
Yep.
or you want to maintain the level of strength that she had. And actually, I changed things a little bit due to the microcycle structure, the volume of some of the shari, especially day. It's for her bottom paused squat. And during the final week, just before final week, when she was just before the day when she was hitting um the last primary session, the heaviest session, I was at 3 a.m. Awake to just to make sure to check this, do some simulation, what will happen, what we can expect,
Mm.
and what we will do next during the block, during the microcycle. Sorry, if
Yep.
she will hit that one or that number or another number. So yeah, I
Yep.
was pretty, I was pretty nervous, but it's
Yep.
actually it ends pretty well. So, and if actually if you are in Sheffield, it's like it's very friendly environment. All the lifters really know each other. It's like, and we were there third time, so it was like jak jest odwiedzać? Abduct or meet your old friends who lived
Yeah.
somewhere
That's cool.
in foreign.
Because that was one of my questions. Is it friendly in the warm up room, or is everyone
Yeah, it's really
friendly
friendly.
in the
Yeah,
warm
it's
up room?
friendly, like more like friendly.
Yeah.
Because actually, there are some battles like especially for between the lifters in the same weight class, but actually everyone want to hit something above the world record. So everyone is
Yeah.
concerned about it, I believe. So it's pretty actually. I believe that most of the lifters are really cheering for themselves, each other. Especially, it was really fun to watch, really exciting to watch when there was a battle between Emil and Gustav in '93. It was awesome, and both the guys really was like, mm, let's say, cheering up themselves, and
Yep.
it was really fun to watch.
Because I love that part of our sport. Like people are trying to beat each other. Like, and there's stuff online. Something like Sheffield, there's cash there, but at the same time, there's that camaraderie where everyone knows what we've been through to move that barbell, and everyone seems to be there with each other, like, let's go. Because also, the flip side is, I know if my competitor does better, it's going to drive me to go better, and we're all going to walk away the strongest we've ever been at the end of these meets, right?
Yeah, totally. And
Do you pinch yourself at Sheffield and go, fuck, 15 years ago, look where I am today?
yeah, I am. Actually, it's like for me, and I'm like not compete. I'm just like the part of the success of Agata. I don't know how
Yeah.
big, because she is very gifted lifter. Let's say it.
Mm.
It has to be said that Agata is extremely gifted lifter, extremely gifted athlete. But it is pretty excited and pretty important to me that I was at Sheffield with her. And my biggest, I believe my biggest dream is to make happen that another lifter from me, another lifter that I work with, will also be prepared and will jak jest pojawić się? Will appear at Sheffield. Sorry for English. So yeah, and I even know who might it be. In free,
Without giving too much away, you could have a Agata on the ladies' team and a male, and you could take out first place for both.
Yeah, maybe.
Mate, I think absolutely with what you're doing. A curious question: training from girls to boys. Do you like to change things up a little bit in how you're like giving everything to them as well? How much a difference is there between the two?
Actually, boys are not so well suited to have so much volume during their sessions. So I got some guys with the like 4 squats, 4 deadlifts, and 6 benches, but it's not for everyone. Literally, obviously, also. So yeah. But I think it's pretty just the amount of volume that the men can recover from is a little bit less than for a woman, and it's pretty much it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But for me, it's I tend to I like more to work with women more. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole relation is more straightforward, more honest, let's say. And there is no like I am not really a guy who is like really bossy for my lifters. It's like that it's współpraca, let's say cooperation, yeah. And some of the male lifters I like, they want to have a boss above them, not the guy that is ready to give some place to them to do things like they would like to do. And I'm not that guy who just want to give some instructions. And yeah, instructions pretty polite word.
Yeah. I think a collaborative approach, like you're saying, I think that's the most successful way to be able to coach someone. I think for many reasons, I think it works so well. Being able to educate your lifters so they can have a deep understanding of what they're doing and why they're doing it is such an important part of coaching. So that collaborative relationship can evolve as their skill as a lifter and their understanding themselves evolve. Because you get it right, they know their body better than anybody. They know what's working, and then if you can give them the tools to help with that, and you guys can build a relationship, that's how you really build an athlete, I think.
Yeah.
Those conversations are so important. And like for me, coaching, like I'll sit down with everyone, the end of the block, and I think some of the best coaching comes in those interactions versus the actual the training sessions, like sitting down, debriefing what worked, what didn't work. What do you really think is the athlete work, rather than them going, "Yeah, really, coach, off you go, work it out."
I think it's the most important thing. Despite of the some data that I gathered, the things that I observe, but just honest conversation during the beginning or the end of the block is I believe most important for good relation with an athlete, with the lifter. And yeah, actually, if you have if you don't have a really good if you're not connected with your lifter, you will just struggling to write a blog for him, because actually you know shit about what he would like to do, what was the pros and cons of the previous blog. And with somebody who are like calls you every week, you got like the blog is pretty ready even before you will just starting to write, because you know and ideas that he want to do, you know what you want to do in terms of what he tells you, what was his insight, he or her insights. So it's pretty ready before even you started to put a spreadsheet alive.
Do you love spreadsheets?
Yeah. The most important thing. If there will be that day that Google Sheets will be paid, this is my very end.
Yeah, because you'll have to pay.
It will be a really shitty day for me.
Mate, I love a Google sheet. I call it entering the matrix.
Yeah.
And then my wife, where I'm sitting here, my kitchen table is just on that side of it. And she'll catch me and I'll be just tippy tapping away, and I'll giggle without even realizing I'm giggling. She'll be like, "You're right, good one, yeah, I'm into this one." I love it. How much do you ever sit back on your programming and like pull it apart yourself and try and look at it outside of you as a third party to try and see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong or could be done better for yourself?
Yeah. Like I believe all the time. If my athletes struggle with something, he's like even unmotivated. His mentally like mm, wasted, let's say. And or the some of the some lift itself is not progressing. The first thing that I do is I'm searching for some issues during the program, inside of the program, inside of like structure of microcycle and in volume, etc. And I just starting to ask some questions. Okay, do you feel really exhausted after that session, or do you feel that that particular accessory work is important, or do you feel that it's like wasting of time and something like that? So yeah, I always look for some issues, some problems, some mistakes. And also my wife is one of the best coaches that I work with. Truly, I really feel that way. And also I tend to talk about some issues that I have with her, and she gave me that other look for at things, other perspective.
Yeah, like, so what do you do? What do you do when you're not coaching? How do you get away from the barbell? Do you shut off from the world of barbell? Like, what are you doing on the weekend or outside of this thing?
Actually, I'm big fan of metal music. I like.
Really? I love it.
Yeah, totally. I am like my heart is as black as the music I listen to.
I
And
love it. Do you
so
like going to
we so my wife wasn't that she is not so familiar or even into the metal music, but she also
Yep.
been with me on the Megadeth concert, on Metallica concert, and she started to liking it. So Being on some festivals, being on some concert is a pretty big thing for us. Also, funny thing, both of us are pretty. We really loved the whole exit room conception. Escape room conception. So I did it like 60-ish escape room during my life, and you did like 30 for now? 30, 40. So yeah, during our spare time during the weekend, we search for some new escape room, and we just yeah, we just played itself. And I also play bass and started to play drums. So if I really have some available time, I just going downstairs and play some electric drums because my neighbors would otherwise kill me. But yeah, and drumming is like the thing now. It's really giving me peace of mind and really relax me.
Yeah, I love that. So maybe we'll see you in a band soon as well.
I don't think so. I'm too old to it to this shit. I believe. Yeah. But yeah, I got some guys that I play from time to time, but it's not really serious. It's like guys that are in mid-30s just want to go out from home and just do some things, and playing some instruments is pretty good for 4 hours. Just give the opportunity to like change your perspective and just relax.
Yeah, and shut the spreadsheet down for a day.
Yeah.
Are you always thinking about it though? Is it in the back of your head at all times? Do you struggle to turn it off?
Yeah, I am. It's like our job, whole coaching thing is like 24/7. It's all the time with you. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I didn't have a notes sheet in my phone, I wouldn't sleep.
Totally.
Do I need to do 5x3 or 3x5? Should be 3x3, 3x3. What percentage? What RPE? Oh God, I need a front squat in there somewhere.
Yeah, I feel pretty the same.
Round and round. Yeah, I think that notes sheet is really good for my own personal mental health, and probably my wife and my family as well. Brother, mate, I just want to thank you very much for coming on, mate. You're an absolute phenomenal human of a coach, mate. What you're doing is cutting edge. I love it, mate, and I'm super excited for people to see what you're doing and actually creating. This sport is a sport, and that's how you're treating it in its simplicity, and seeing a lot more coaches and athletes take example of that, and we're going to get a lot more strong people.
Oh man, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
Mate, I leave with one question.
Yep.
It's 9 p.m. in your lovely city. What are you having dessert tonight, and what are you going to have?
I will not, due to the fact that I'm like cutting my weight also, but in not powerlifting, I am just too fat and I want to be below 110. So there will not be no dessert tonight.
No dessert for you, brother, mate. Well, again, thanks very much, mate. For those who want to find you, mate, Instagram be the best place to find your profile and drop a message and chat to you. Beautiful.
Instagram would be the best.
That's the best place. Well, that's how I found you, mate. I do appreciate again you coming on and chatting to a stranger over in Australia, mate. I look forward to building this relationship and getting you on for more chats about powerlifting and drums and bands. It'll be fun.
Yeah, with a pleasure. With a pleasure, mate.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you very soon.